On a trip to Alaska, Diana and her church group, which is called Fate Factor, go on a trip for 18 days. As Diana and her group having a great time on this cruise, when night hit, things started to become a little bit strange, weird, and deadly. So the first morning happens, and then everybody is like, where's Diana? What happened? What Diana didn't know, some people in her church group had a little secret, and she would end up not ever returning back home again because of what's about to happen on this cruise. Woo! Snacks! Because this video is about to be crazy. So look, shout out to all of y'all that been DMing me y'all snacks. I can't do all of y'all snacks in one video. It's gonna take some time, baby. With that being said, shout out Koreax Kenshin.
Here you go, Joe. Here you go, Joe.
And y'all already know what I'm about to say because I'm ready to record this video. Go get your snacks.
I just started off in your world.
As Diana is on this cruise ship enjoying her time, immediately goes to her parents and send them pictures of the great time she's having. She no longer have her parents around. This is her first time ever leaving without being supervised by her parents.
She gets to do a trip without her parents around, no one in her family. So for the first time ever, she doesn't have those watchful eyes.
She has this freedom now. And I believe she's bisexual. I don't know if she's just lesbian and like just only girls. How guys be acting these days. You know what? I don't blame you, Diana. And she shared a lot of intimate moments with this girl who she met. Like I said earlier, Diana is inside of a youth group, a church youth group. Now, I was also inside of a church youth group. And just how they're doing, traveling, exploring the world, we done the same exact thing. Except I've never been on a cruise. And most people who I hear say go on a cruise always have a good time. It's a place where you're away from the world, you're on this boat, away from everything. And there's a lot of activities, food, and things to do on this boat as you go to travel to visit new places. But I know how it's like being in a youth group and traveling, and there are always some people inside of the youth group that comes out of nowhere, just nowhere, and you become friends with these people. And when you travel, you share a room with them. But because you like, okay, I'm in a church, it's no way somebody is planning on doing nothing stupid or evil or crazy. At least that's how I was when I was in a church group and nothing happened, but look how unfortunate it's about to be for her. I'm saying all of that just to say it's crazy how you gotta even have your eyes open in a church group. Now remember that girl that I was telling you about that Diana is so head over heels, not in love with, but in like with? That girl name is Elizabeth. The new member of this youth group, his name is Zach. Elizabeth and Zach know each other. Keep that in mind. So, as Diana and as Elizabeth holding hands, enjoying their time, having a good time, the friends will come up to the two and say, you know, y'all two are very interesting. Everybody can see that.
She hadn't been very open with me about romantic partners in the past, but with Elizabeth, I knew that there was kind of a different spark there. The two of them basically became inseparable as far as I knew. A lot of physical touch, contact. I'm sure some people asked some questions, but they were unafraid of it. They were proud to be who they were.
But Zach, he comes around and Elizabeth hops off of her shoes, runs up to Zach to give him a hug. These two share a lot of history, and it's been rumors that they even shared the bed together. Meaning they used to sleep with each other. You can just tell by that hug that them two, but they're just friends, right? Right. Side note, yes, this whole story is 100% true. This is a real story, and I had to throw that out there for the people who may be like, is this a movie? No, it's not. It's real life. Told in a movie format, if that makes sense. As Diana sees the two, in Diana's head, she's starting to think love triangle because she sees how intimate they are with each other without even really being intimate. Those just one of those things that girls just have a gut feeling and they just always know shit. Like, girls just always know stuff. Like, you can't do nothing without them. I know what you done. But then Diana goes up to the two and argue. Not really argue, but talks about and confront her about how this situation y'all two have is not okay. And I see that it's more than a friendship. But the argument escalated so quick that Elizabeth ended up pushing Diana. She ends up bumping into the new guy and she walks off sad, plus mad, because she thinks she's about to lose the girl that she really likes and has been enjoying her time with. As she's in her room, packs up her clothes, everything that she needs, and she goes and separate herself from the whole youth group. She don't want to be around no one anymore. She just needed some time to cool down. Matter of fact, Elizabeth and Diana ended up talking and them two was back on board again. She ended up going to the kid that was in this youth group because apparently kids went with them. And you know, she would teach and study the Bible to these kids. She loved God and she loved the Bible and she loved teaching it and she just loved interacting with young people a lot.
End up working with kids in some capacity because she seemed to always be playing with the younger ones and including everybody.
Later on that night, she gets dressed and she goes out to meet her friends. She goes and walks to her friend room, Leanna and Paul, and they talk, they communicate for a while, having fun, and then she told her friends, I'm gonna go head to the parties that's going on tonight. There was multiple parties on this cruise ship that was gonna be all night. So she told her friends bye, walked off, she headed out to the party. We really don't know exactly piece by piece what happened that night, but what we do know, yes, she was partying all night. 5 a.m. in the morning, she was caught on CCTV crying her eyes out about something crazy that had to happen because how she was so in distress, just crying on the phone. And from CCTV, we really couldn't get out what she was crying about or what even happened. Then she puts the phone down, wiped the tears from her eyes, and walk away. It's morning now. All of the youth group, everybody in the group meet up to eat breakfast, and they notice that Diana, she's not here. She didn't show up. They go to her room, they open the door, they don't see her. It's empty. Her luggage and her items is still in the room, but just no her. They ended up calling the Coast Guard and they ended up doing a search for her all around the cruise, even checking the waters, but they could not find her at all. Now this turned into a real investigation. They checked CCTV and they found out when she was on the call, a young man popped up, and the young man was talking to her, grabbing her shoulder, trying to either comfort her or they was arguing back and forth. You can't really tell because they don't have no audio. So there's like, maybe this man have something to do with her disappearance, just maybe. First guy they questioned, Paul. You know, that's one of her friends, because he was the guy that came up to her while she was on the phone on CCTV, and he was the last guy to actually to be seen with her from CCTV. Her very last moment was caught of her just on a rail, just looking out into the water, and then she walks off from the camera view and was never seen again. So as they questioned Paul, because you're the last person, he was just saying how I ran into her by accident and I seen she was crying, so I asked her, are you okay? Is everything good? She said, yeah, I'm fine, I'm okay. And that's why I grabbed her shoulder the way I did, because I was just trying to comfort her. I was just trying to make sure she's okay. Is he lying or is he telling the truth? Then he leaves from her, and then she goes to the rail, and then she sits, watch the view for a while, and then she walks off, never seen again. But then there's Leanna. They question her. She says everything was fine. We was hanging out earlier and in my room with Paul, and we was just having a great time. She went off to have a party, but her relationship, it was kind of off and on, and it was kind of iffy. Maybe look into that, but that was all she could get out, and that's all she knew. So then they go to Elizabeth. She's the party girl, the girl that likes to have fun. She even mentioned that, you know what, yes, I seen her earlier before the party and even during the party. We even paused on the party for a little bit to go inside of a room with Zachary, and we had a few beers and we just listened to music, we vibed out, and we started talking for a while. Elizabeth looked the investigator in the eye and said, we had a threesome. After the threesome, she wasn't happy though. She looked like she was down. She looked like she wasn't enjoying herself no more and looked very sad. Was it even consensual? Did she even wanted a threesome? We don't even know. We can't just say she was just drunk, because right after you said she was sad. Then Elizabeth goes on to say she was tearing her eyes out. So she opens the door, closes it, and walks away. Me and Zach, we go to sleep. So then Elizabeth is like, my friend, is she dead? Is she dead? I didn't know. She ended up admitting something that she didn't say ever, that anybody didn't even know. She was like, my friend, she's depressed, and I think she just jumped over because she was having a bad time, because she didn't want to come out and admit that she was lesbian, but she finally did, and she admitted it, but it was eating her up. And before she disappeared, she even said that she was gonna jump off, and she probably did jump off, now that I think about it. You know, this is what she's telling the detective, and she's crying her eyes out, and she's just having a bad time because she's like, my girlfriend died and I wasn't there to comfort her. Now here's where things become a little bit iffy. The investigator goes around and asks the whole youth group, including the close friends, Leanna, Paul, did Diana show any signs of depression or her wanting to unalive herself anytime? Did you see any signs? And before you answer that, I need you to be honest with me. Did she show any signs? Every single person on this ship said no.
That maybe Deanna had been depressed or something, which I don't believe for a second.
So then that points the finger towards Elizabeth. And they think to themselves, why would Elizabeth be lying?
There was this theory that maybe a rogue wave on deck 7 swept Deanna overboard, but that seems really unlikely because there was a 6-foot-plus steel wall along with other safety.
Now this is very important what I'm about to say, so just keep on track. Investigators asked one of her other best friends, one that you didn't see throughout this whole video, but it's one of her best close friends. They asked her, do you know anything about Diana that she may told you that we do not know? She said yes. When we had stopped, because you know cruise ships can stop at certain places, of course you know that though. She was scared to get back on the cruise ship because she was scared that she was going to be sexually assaulted. And then that's when someone got her shorts and showed that it's been ripped and torn like Like something had to happen for this to happen, of course, because your pants is not just gonna rip like that or be torn like that. So it's something that we definitely missing out in this whole situation that needs to unfold. But then they go question Paul again because they asked themselves, when they was watching the CCTV footage, it was almost like Paul was trying to confront her or to try to ask her, what are you talking about? Instead of being like, are you okay? Are you worried? You need help? Because he was the last person to see her on the ship that night, and maybe he heard something that she was saying that he didn't like. So he hurry up, he speed walked to her to try to tell her to shut up or something. Because honestly, if we being real, it don't look like he was trying to confront her, not confront her, to comfort her. Like, Paul, you looking suspicious. Diana never came out and said she wanted anything intimately with any guy. So why would she want to sleep with Zach? Well, Elizabeth, she said, we left the door cracked. So she wasn't forced at all. Interesting. Would that have to do anything? What leaving a door crack has to do with not being forced? We do know that that's not her clothing. This is guaranteed not her clothing. So is it Zach's? Or is it another guy that she was dealing with that we have no idea about on this cruise? And we can't forget about how those shorts was torn. The only way that her clothing would become torn like that is she wasn't consenting, and it forced her off of her, and that's how they got it off of her. Then all of a sudden, a hit on her credit card happened. But it led them to a corner. It got them nowhere. And at the end of it all, no answers. And she's still not found. So she's either missing, unalived herself, and we don't know about it, or someone murdered her, which I think someone murdered her and got away with it. Tell me in the comments what y'all think. Now, if y'all want more videos like this, let me know, and I got y'all. Because I'm gonna be honest, I had a great time recording this, and it was very interesting and different in a way. And it kind of opened my eyes about how, like, no matter where you at, what group you in, you was in the church group. And that's why I was explaining how I was in the church group and how I was sleeping next to strangers who I just trusted because we was in the church group. You really do have to always have that one eye open. Like, you really do. With that being said, I love y'all. Good night. Take care. Bye.
Moved out of state, she doing left, she seeking forgiveness. She used to dance, but she went alone, start up a